Hey, welcome into the Stinkin Truth Podcast alongside Mike Evans. I am Mark Schlereth. It is time for the leftovers. Great game I got to call on Sunday between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas. Absolutely amazing. That stadium, by the way. Have you been?
I have, yeah.
It's an amazing stadium. It just became my new favorite stadium.
Really?
No,
we'll get to a couple of your new favorites.
I just say that to get under the skin of all my Bronco faithful.
Yes.
So
yes.
anyhow, no, but it's a great stadium. It was a great game, and I've got lots of notes here.
Well, let's start with the winners. Let's start with Jacksonville, and I know you liked the time you spent with Liam Cohen.
Yeah,
and you had been critical here on the podcast. And you were pretty upfront with Duval with Liam Cohen about Trevor Lawrence's a lot of missed throws.
Yeah.
Maybe how did that conversation with Liam Cohen go?
There was two things that that I had talked about was the inaccurate throws going into the game over the last couple of weeks, and then the sacks, and so. These were things that I had talked about during the broadcast about how inaccurate some of the throws were. And in the first half, I think he had 5 missed throws, like 5 off-target throws. But the last 2 weeks going into this game, he had 37 incompletions. Of those 37 incompletions, there were 21 inaccurate throws by my account. I'm not talking about what the coaches came up with, what I saw as an inaccurate throw. And of the 8 or 10 drops they had, or 8 drops, 7 drops, whatever it was, like 3 or 4 of them were, again, off-target throws where the receiver could have made the catch. It did hit him in the hands, but it was one of these, Mike, where all of a sudden you're like, whoa, that type of thing. So it was still a drop, but it was a drop off of an inaccurate throw. And then I'm sitting in a meeting and it said, hey, man, by my account, I'm not putting this on you, by my account, of the 7 sacks you took last week, I put 5 on your quarterback. And Liam Cohen just said, that's fair. So they're not all created because, our offensive line sucks. Like I'm reading all these articles from, Jacksonville, from Duval County. Like, we might need to change our offensive line. Maybe there's a rookie, that should go in there and play for this guy or that guy, right? I'm like, pump your brakes. Of those 7 sacks, I counted 5 on your court. 2 of them he ran out of bounds. Throw the ball away. Throw it away. Don't run out of bounds 4 yards short of the sticks. Throw it away. There's took a sack on a first play of the game where he's got this, we call it a bow concept in the West Coast offense. So there's a guy that runs a hitch and a dude runs a basic over the top of it. So it's that hitch is sometimes the West Coast offense called an arrow, and the basic is a basic, and you combine the 2 words together. Basic with arrow is bow. That's how these stupid things get made, right? So that's what you had, and that arrow, that little hitch is wide open, and you're going to catch it at 5 yards, and you're going to fall forward for 2, and he decides, let me pull it down and see if there's something better. Bam, You're like, no. Just get rid of the football. Just take your profit. Just take the freaking profit, man. And so even in the first half, he didn't do it as well, but then he started rolling. And then the other thing that was interesting with Liam Cohen was like being upset with himself as a play caller and not leaning into the run game. One of the things he told me, hey, man, when we carry the ball 25 times, we've won every game. And he goes, sometimes as a play caller, you get a couple of 2 or 3 yard runs and you just kind of give up on it. And it's one of the things I always talk to teams about is, man, you got to fall in love. You got to celebrate a 2 yard run as long as it's filthy, as long as it's nasty, because what does it do? In the fourth quarter, it's going to take the starch out of the defensive pass rush. They're not going to be able to rush the passer as well. And so he said, "Hey man, I've got to adhere to it." Also, we've got some design QB runs in there, and at the end of the day, Travis Etienne had 22 carries, and I think Bashal Tootin had 9 carries, and I think Trevor Lawrence had 9 carries, and
42 total.
42 total carries
for 151.
Yeah,
only 3.6 yards per carry.
Got to do it.
That's right there, Exhibit A. What you talk about, the idea of keep pounding away at it, because Etienne had 22 carries for 84 yards. Take out his 20-yard long, so that's 21 carries for 64 yards. That's not a whole lot of results, but
not a whole lot of production. But what it ended up doing for Trevor Lawrence, one, it didn't make him a high volume thrower because he had averaged 45 throws a game the 2 games previous. So now all of a sudden you're not a high volume thrower, and you're more apt when you're running the ball to take that first read in your progression, just to dump it down, to make the play. And you saw him, especially in the second half, do a much better job of that. And so, I looked at that, man, and I was proud of the growth. Like, you get proud of the growth. You're like, good for you, man, because it's one of those things where I think there is a lot of pressure on guys to perform, a lot of pressure on guys to be like, oh, man, I got to be the guy, or I got to make the big play. I got to do this, that, and the other. And he stayed away from that, methodically drove his team down the football field. And, oh, by the way, they chose in overtime. They won the coin toss. They said, give us the ball. We're going to go down here, and we'll roll down here and score. And they did that.
You put so much work into those game cards of yours. Just maybe some interesting things that you found in prepping for this game that maybe the folks, Jacksonville fans watching, didn't get a chance for you to bring it out to the broadcast?
I mean, there's a lot of I got notes on the back of my card too. So let's see. Oh, this is my Jacksonville side here. Well, we talked about the sack stuff. Talk about, like, don't get bored celebrating a profit. Get your 2-3 yard runs. Those things are good. The first 4 weeks of the season, they had a top 5 running game at 140 yards per game. In the last 3 games, they had dropped to 14th at 119 a game. And so, they've dropped all the way down to 119 a game. I mean, they weren't getting 119 a game. Right. They went from 140 down to 119. So that was a big part of kind of my evaluation. One of the other things they were doing, Anthony Campanelli, their defense coordinator, they made a trade. And I think it might have been a shrewd trade. They're a big zone team, big quarters team, big cover 6 team. They're going to play a lot of zone in that back end. And they made a trade for Greg Newsome from Cleveland. Greg Newsome is a man. I mean, he's always been kind of more of a man-to-man cover guy. And they were like, hey, man, in third down and shorts, in some critical situations with some blitz stuff, we need to bring more pressure. We need to play some man-to-man stuff behind it. And that's not how their defense was structured. And so they went out and traded Tyson Campbell, who's a really unbelievable athlete. They traded him for Greg Newsome because Greg Newsome lived in this man-to-man cover world. And like a shrewd trade, because Tyson Campbell's a really good player. But they're like, we need a guy to help us just kind of convert in these third down areas to be a little bit more man-to-man kind of centric in those deals.
Final thought on Jacksonville. You've seen them a couple times now this year. They're saying they're at 5-3. Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with 5-3, but at times, it feels kind of a shaky or underwhelming 5-3. Being around this team again, watching them play firsthand, moving forward over the next 9 games of this season, what would be your message to Jaguar fans about where you think this season is capable of going?
Yeah, well, I would tell you at this particular point in time, like, I saw Brian Thomas do some things. He leads the league in drops. He was a superstar Pro Bowler last year, has not been consistent this year. And too many times I watched him in games not play 6'2", 209. He's playing 5'7", 175. Go out there and dominate. And body language, an off-target throw, and he can't make a play, and you can see him get frustrated. And my thought was just go out there and be a boss. Go out there and be the man. Be the actuator of your offense. And I got to see him do some of that. But the bottom line is Liam Cohen knows, this is the other thing I told Liam. This is funny. And this is one thing I love about Liam Cohen. Liam is great. I was talking to Nick Mullins, their backup quarterback, and he goes, man, he's fiery. He is he gets on us. But they probably run at the line of scrimmage about 90% candid packages. And candid is you walk up the line of scrimmage and you may have from a strong side run to a backside run, strong run to weak run to a pass. And you got to look at what the defense presents and make the best decision to give you the best chance to have success on that play. Well, sometimes that makes you play with a lack of aggression. And sometimes a defense will get you out of, especially when you haven't thrown the ball really well, they'll get you out of your best runs and make you throw the ball. And so I told Liam, one of my questions was, how many call it and run it plays? How many tank plays do you have in this game plan? And he goes, I got some. I go, how many? I go, you need more. I go, you need and he's like, I go, you run way too much.
When you got him on the defense. He's like, well, I got some. Yeah.
But then he had his play sheet, man. He went through. He goes, let me see. First downs, I got 1, 2, 3. And so I was like, man, you need to just call it, just understand from the perspective of being an offensive lineman in the running game. Sometimes I just want to line up and we're going to run 18 handoff on first down or on first sound and just come off the ball, right? And I go, you got to give your guys some of that, right? You got to do more of that and less of the. And he's like, I know, Liam's great that way, but he's like, I got it.
You're like a traveling offensive line roadshow. You really are. You're just,
I am.
Everywhere you go, you try to. You're there to call a game.
Right.
But I can tell you're also you're trying to.
I'm always
trying to send a message.
You got to give the guys a break, man. Yeah. You got to you understand what their problems are. So I was like,
you're on a mission.
You're right. I was like,
it's like a.
You need more call it and run it plays.
Yeah.
You need more tank plays. Just call it. It's good against everything. He was like, okay, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
He was in.
Yeah,
and he did.
All right.
Good for him.
All right. Let's get to the Raiders. It was brought to my attention here in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
What you said during the broadcast, Bronco fans don't like the Raiders. And you said, quote, Brock Bowers is my new favorite player.
Yeah, I did say that on the broadcast.
And
he was having a hell of a game.
Well,
he had 13 targets. He had 12 catches, over
27 yards and 3 touchdowns.
And 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He was amazing.
Yeah. Good enough to make him your new favorte player. Did not go well here in Broncos country.
I
got
told
some explaining to do.
I told you last year, first off, and I got myself in a little bit of trouble when I said this, but guy's got a great ass. Like his legs and his ass, thick, and he can run. I was surprised by how well he runs. Very taut-tiny. Very taut-tiny. So, this dude can flat out run. Great route runner. He is their one dude that can beat man-to-man coverage anytime. The first touchdown he has, he's lined up outside. So he's essentially playing X. And they move him all over the place. They put him in line in 2 tight end formations, 3 tight end formations. He'll be in the slot. He'll be outside the numbers. They'll take 3 wide receivers, set him to the to one side of the field. He'll be the X receiver into the boundary on the other side of the field. And the very first touchdown, he had one-on-one back shoulder fade with Greg Newsome, the guy they brought in to have to be the one-on-one corner. And he shakes him, bam, back shoulder, catches with one hand, and that Todd Heine hits inbounds, bam. And 2 cheeks equal 2 feet. So he got the cheeks down, and it turned out to be a touchdown. They first initially ruled it not a touchdown. One-handed catch, high knee in bounds. It was awesome. It was awesome. And then he had one where he just explodes across the field, man. First off, comes off the ball, sets up the DB, sticks him out, cross the field, bam, takes it, and then just accelerates through the defense, through the teeth of the defense for probably 30 yards and a touchdown. It was, and that's where I said, I got so excited. Maybe it was temporary insanity. I said, that is my new favorite player, Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
I got very excited.
All right, moment of insanity, but no, hey, I mean, he's a heck of a player. And I'm just kind of curious here moving forward. You got a chance to spend, you got good Pete. You know, you always like to joke that whenever you get ready
Pete
to
likes me now.
Whenever you do a Pete Carroll game, you're not sure what Pete you're going to get. The kind that's like treats you like,
like best friends,
or the one that treats
like,
you
you're like, I've never met you.
I never met you before.
Like, did I get Pete that I just met in the grocery store,
Right.
or do I get Pete that has me over?
Pals.
Yeah,
Which Pete did you get?
I got a great Pete.
Yeah,
Great. Well, Pete found out that I played defense in college. Last time I did a game in Washington.
Yeah, you started on defense.
He found out that I played defense in college. And that's when he said, oh, he goes, it makes sense to me now. And that was his way of saying, I knew I liked you for some reason, but you were an offensive player, so I didn't know why. I was like, But he goes, now that you play defense, I have more respect for you.
I got you.
Yeah. So we had another. He was awesome. Pete was great. Told him my Raiders in San Diego Super Bowl story, like where I got in that car with all those Raider fans.
Yes.
He thought that was hilarious.
Yes.
So we were just kind of reminiscing about some stuff. But yeah, Pete's a really upbeat, very good coach. They got their offensive weapons back. It was the first time that Brock Bowers was healthy. From the third quarter in week 1 where he hurt his knee, he tried to play for a couple more weeks. They finally had to just say, hey, sit down. 3 weeks that he missed. So he was tremendous in that game. Michael Mayer is a really good player at the other tight end position. Listen, man, they've got some players. Obviously, Max Crosby is worth the price of admission. If you just went to buy a ticket to just watch Max Crosby play, you would be thoroughly entertained.
Does he survive the trade deadline?
I think so. I mean, I would think he would. He's just such a vital part of what they're doing, and he plays so freaking hard, and he is splitting double teams. He's creating havoc in the backfield. He's getting, even when he doesn't, like he can wreck a game without compiling a stat. Just the guy's amazing. He's so much fun to watch.
So after spending time around the Raiders, around Pete Carroll, I think this is the big question I'll ask for all Raider Nation out there. Do you feel like they're in good hands? Because, Raider fan has had to see so many different coaches, different quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like what we've gone through here in Denver, and then they got their adult in the room. Yeah. John Payton came in, has changed the culture.
Yeah.
And they've gone, 17-9 now with a rookie or second-year quarterback. Do you get the sense that the Raiders are finally in good adult hands?
Yeah, and talking to Gino's great. I really like talking to Gino. I think the Raiders and their players feel really good kind of about where they're at. And so I think one of the things that you always have to realize, and it happened here in Denver, it takes a couple of years. Mm-hmm. You just can't eliminate your entire team. And the new coach and the staff that comes in, they've got to come to the realization of like which guys fit our culture, our system, what we're trying to accomplish, which guys don't. And some of the guys don't fit. Doesn't mean they're bad dudes. Some of the guys just don't fit because they just don't fit what we're trying to do. And so you got to understand, that's something that takes a little bit of time. Yeah. There are some guys right away you just want to get rid of, right? Guys you don't like. Those are cultural, non-fit cultural guys. But there are guys that you want to move on from just because they don't fit what you're trying to accomplish as an offense or a defense. And so that's going to take a little bit of time, and that's what they're in the process of doing right now.
The good news is, leave it at this, the good news is I would think that every coach who comes in feels like he has to change over to the kind of guys he wants.
Correct.
A lot of them are first-time coaches or young coaches that are trying to figure it out. At least with a guy like Pete Carroll, he has a frame of reference. He knows what he knows. He knows what he's looking for.
Right.
And I would think that would help,
Yes.
speed up the whole process.
By the way, I did have my favorite answer to any question of the entirety of the year.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Set it up.
And so I was talking to Chip Kelly and
this is good.
having a great conversation with Chip Kelly just about what they're trying to do as an offense and what they need to do. And, Ashton Genty, by the way, for those who said that Ashton Genty was like, he wasn't going to figure it out, Ashton Genty can play. And I will tell you, I don't know what he had running the ball wise. He had some dynamic runs, but I don't know yardage wise exactly what he had. But he was absolutely stoning fools in blitz pickup. And I mean crossing the formation to go grab a linebacker and just, mouthful of Rydell stopping dudes in their tracks. I was more impressed with his blitz pickup than I was with anything else that he did. And he had a pretty good
13 carries, 42 yards, 5 catches, 47 yards.
Yeah.
So about 90 yards of offense.
Needs more carries, and Chip needs to get that done. But having this conversation with Chip, and I think it might have been our director that asked. I mean, it was probably Chris Myers asked about analytics. And my disdain for analytics, right?
Hate analytics.
Math has never made a tackle. Math has never thrown one block, ever. And it's just so faulty. It's just such bullshit. It was something that somebody who's a math nerd made up so they could be involved in football.
I see.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
And so
pay no attention to the fact that analytics is taking over all sports, but you go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, it's in all sports, but it's bullshit. And so
what did Chip say?
So he said analytics falls in the realm of TBU.
TBU. What does that mean?
TBU. Any guesses?
Well, I already know the answer. Go ahead.
All right. So here's his take on analytics. TBU. True, but useless. It's my favorite answer of any question.
Yeah. Anytime it comes up again.
True, but useless.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right.
Congratulations.
All right.
Congratulations, all you analytics nerds out there. For everybody involved in the Stinking Truth podcast, for everybody involved in the Leftovers podcast, thank you guys so much for making us a part of your day. For Mike, I am Mark. We'll be back with you guys next week.